Hello, my name's Marc Sommerfeld, and welcome to our shop today. What we're going to be doing today is I'm going to be showing you a lot of different things on cabinets. We're in a shop here, and this is not my shop. It's a friend of mine's, Robbie Shorg. He started building cabinets 20 years ago with me, right out of high school. I taught him how to do his trade, and he's been in business for 25 years and doing a great job. In fact, 2 summers ago, him and I spent 4 months in this shop, both of us, building my dream kitchen that I have, all out of bird's eye maple, and it's on, the kitchen's on our website if you want to look at it. But we incorporated back then a lot of these curves like this, and some other curves that we're going to be doing. And my younger brother saw it, and he's building a house now, and he wants to use the same curve. So this is his kitchen that we're building here, or Robbie's building. You know, I come in here and watch once in a while, but that's what we're doing. We're doing raised panels, putting them on a curve. We got a new technique on doing this. We got inside curves inside here and outside that we'll show you later. Another new thing we're doing here that we did on our kitchen too is this is a bump out. I don't know if you can see it, but you'll see it later, where we have an inside radius and outside radius. We bump the cabinet out a little bit for a sink or a cooktop or something like that. So what we're going to be doing today is we're going to be showing you how we do all these. And what we're going to do first is I'm going to show you how to take these raised panels and make them look like they're bending on a curve. So we'll get started here next. Okay, the first thing we're going to do when we make this island here is about 10 foot this way and about 6 foot wide, and it's U-shaped. This is just a brace here in the back for right now. But what we do is we make a template, you know, a couple pieces of 1/4-inch plywood here, template them together, and we're going to draw the curves out where we want the curves. We want a curve coming around here, a curve on each corner, and a curves on the inside. So we don't want any square corners anywhere. Okay, so in figuring these curves, we're going to put these raised panels at a curve. Now, if you look down here, what people used to do is they'd build one raised panel, another raised panel, and another raised panel, 4 raised panels. And then where those panels meet, what they do is cut an angle there and join them together, biscuit them, pocket screw them or whatever up on the inside, and join those angles together. Well, we figured a new way of doing it. What we're going to do, again, if you look down here, this style right here, and this style, all of our styles, there's one style, it's a solid piece of wood. You can see how we glued it up. And if you want to practice doing this, I practiced using 2x4s. Okay, this was a 2x4. Okay, and you can see how we're cutting it into our pattern cut into here and our pattern cut into here, and we're angling it. This pattern cut is cutting at an angle. Okay, so when it gets put together now, our rail come into here and our rail come into here, and it gives a look of a curved panel. You'll see later. Okay, so what we're going to do is figure out how many raised panels we're going to put there to begin with. Okay, like I said, these are 2x4s. So these would be 3.5 inches. So we're going to put a stile going down here. We're going to put a stile going down here, maybe one here and one here. Okay? And we're going to look at that, and maybe it's too big. I don't know. So what we're going to do, I'm going to show you. We made a small setup. You don't know how to do this yet, but you will. But you can see what we did here. We put it actually the joints together. Just a little mock-up. And it looks too big. These panels are too big. So what we're going to do, instead of putting 1, 2, 3, 4 styles, I'm going to put 5 styles. So that's how you got to think when you start building something like this. Oh, is this going to be big enough? Make some mock-ups, okay? Okay, so we're going to take and add another style, okay? When we did that, here's what's going to happen now. So let's say we're going to put a style here. We're going to put one here for sure. Okay, and then we're going to add 3 more in the middle instead of 2. Okay, here's my other one. Now, it looks like these panels are going to be tight, but you got to remember we're cutting some off of these on our angles. All right, so how far, we got to do some math here now. This is 2 foot deep and 2 foot this way, just like a cabinet. So what you got to do is figure out the circumference here. From how far is it from here on this green line over to here? Okay, there's a formula. You go back to your old high school days, pi circumference equals pi times the diameter, okay? Well, the diameter, this is 2-foot radius, the diameter is 48 inches, okay? And the pi, 3.14. So we take 3.14 times 48, and what we get, I'm not this good at math, but there's what we get, 150.72. Okay, we're going to divide that now by 4. Take 4 into 150. Let's call that 3/4. It's close enough. 150 and 3/4, which would be 7.5. So we take 4 into that, and what we get then is 37.68. That's 6/8. We're going to round that to 5/8. So right here, 37 and 5/8 is what it is from here over to here. Okay, we're eating up 3.5 times 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 times. That's going to give us 16.5 inches. What do we have left over? 21 inches inside here for all of our rails. 21, 1, 2, 3, 4. 4 into 21 is about 5 and something, but it's going to be 6 because these rails, remember, they engage 1/2 inch in and 1/2 inch in. You got to refer back to our arch raised panel DVD on how to do that. But, so, I think it's going to work out good. A 6-inch panel is a good looking panel. All right, so now what we got to do is we got to figure out, we got to start cutting these angles. Remember what I said here? We're going to cut an angle here, there, and there. Okay, what is that angle? Well, in a circle, there's 360 degrees. We'll come over here. 360 degrees in a full circle. Okay? And how many angles are we going to have? Well, first of all, we've only got 1/4 of a circle. So we've only got 90 degrees. Okay, we're going to have an angle here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. We're going to actually cut 8 angles. So let's take 8 into 90. 2, 4, comes out to 11 1/4. It's a pretty common denomination when you're talking about building cabinets. But we're going to cut 11 1/4 angles on all these. But the outside ones here, we're going to leave square because we want them to take off straight. So we're going to go over to our table saw now. I'm going to mark these. We're going to cut 11 1/4 angles on these 2x3. 2x4s is what they are basically, but they're 2x4s made out of cherry. So we'll go over to our table saw and cut all these angles. Okay, we've got all of our styles marked here. You know, 11 1/4, 11 1/4. Remember those last 2 of them, we're only going to cut the one side. So put our saw blade in here now. We've got to set that saw blade to 11 1/4. What I do to set my saw blade at exactly 11 1/4, I'll go over to my chop saw and I'll set that for 11 1/4 and I'll chop it off at 11 1/4 and I'll use that as my setup gauge. Okay, so I know I'm right at 11 1/4. Saw blade, of course, I don't know, a lot of people don't use, our saw blades, I mean, I think they're just as good as our router bits. We just love this saw blade. This is my favorite one right here. It's a 10-inch cabinet maker saw blade. I use it for cross cutting. I use it for ripping. Plywood if I have to. We got a plywood blade too, but it's a general purpose blade. It does a great job. Okay, we're going to come into here now. We're going to cut those angles. I got my fence set. We're going to cut those angles on all these styles. Okay. You can see the nice clean cut we're getting with that blade. Now, we've got them all cut. What we're going to do next is take them over to our island over there, our little mock-up of our template, and I'll show you what we're going to do next. Okay, we've got all our styles here now. We got 11 1/4 angles cut on all these middle 3, 11 1/4, 11 1/4 here. Next thing we need to do now, we need to make our pattern cut to receive the rail here, like we're building some raised panel doors, okay? we're going to have to make this pattern cut. So we're going to take this to our router table, and I already have the pattern cutting bit in here. And we're going to have to run them through and make the pattern cuts. Okay? Now, we can't run them through like that because we aren't going to be 90 degrees to the edge. So what we're going to have to do is flip this up. And we're going to have to run that thing through like that. Well, that's going to be hard to hold with this, you know, going through that pattern cut. So what we have to do, what we're going to do, is we're going to go back to the table saw at the same setting, 11 1/4, and we're going to cut 11 1/4 angle here, 11 1/4 angle here. Then we'll have a flat area to rest this board on as we run them through. So let's go over to our table saw and I'll show you how we're going to cut these, how to set it up and cut these. Okay, we got our saw blade still set at that 11 1/4. Okay, we're going to come into here now. We're going to go on the edge grain, and we're going to cut from this point right here up to here. And on this one, we're only cutting on the one side because this is our 90-degree side. All right, where are we going to set our saw blade? Well, we want to set it so that right here, when this piece here, see, here's my colt cut. It's going to go into here, my pattern. We want to make sure we got a good 13/16 of an inch right here, see? So right here, see? So we want to leave this meat here and get rid of this out in here. And if you want to, leave a little extra because you can always sand it off. Okay, I've got it set pretty close to on the money, and we're going to make this cut. Now, instead of making that cut all at once, I usually make them all at once, but when you're first learning how to do this, make a series of cuts. I'll show you. We're going to cut this piece off here, and we'll set the saw blade down, run it through, crank it up a little bit, and run it through again. So here's how we do it. Crank it up a little bit. Okay, I'm going to stop right there. When we're cutting our other ones, we're coming across here, and we're making that cut end way before that anyway. We usually don't have to go that deep, but this is that one where we're just doing the one side. So I think you could just take and break that off. We're going to have to raise it up just a little bit more and get it. Okay, we're going to take that blade up just a hair more. Okay, now we might be able to take a screwdriver. I don't want to raise that blade up any higher than that. Take a screwdriver in there and break that off. That's all we need there. Okay. Now you can take this. What we're going to do is take this off and run that through the planer and get rid of that. Okay. You can see what I've done. I've cut all my other ones. They're already cut. So I went through here like this, gradually making the cut, flipped it over, and made the other cut. And that's how we got our angles coming. Now we're ready to start and cut our pattern cut on both sides of our stiles. Okay, we're over to our router table now. We're ready to cut those pattern cuts, and you can see now how much easier it's going to be to hold that thing. You know, it's got something to rest on. So we're going to come in here and cut the pattern cuts on all of our stiles next. Okay, we got our stiles cut on all our middle sections, you know, on both sides. Now, we also got it cut on the angled side where it butts and goes straight. Okay, so now what we're going to do, instead of cutting like this, we're just going to flip it over, and this is just like a normal cut. We're just going to come into here and make that cut with the flat piece flat on the bottom, right, like this. Okay, and that's where we're going to take off straight. Okay, we've got all our stiles cut. Let's go take all our stiles and set them on our template and see what it looks like. Okay, we've got all our stiles cut right here, and everybody knows how to cut them. I'm going to drop these in here in place. I did these here yesterday, and the reason I'm going to simulate these in here, everybody knows how to cut the pattern cut now, the angles, the pattern cut, these angles. Okay, so we got this job done, and on the end, we're coming straight. We're ready to go. Now, all you do is just like a regular raised panel door now. That's why I'm going to have these all ready to go. We're not going to waste your time showing you how to do this, because in our arch raised panel DVD shows you how to make cope cuts and a pattern cut, just like the bottom of a raised panel door. So, remember doing our math earlier? We know how to, doing our math, we know how to find the length of these. Now, after you put these all together, this is a tough project. You know, you're going to have to take your time. It's not. It looks easy, but it's not real easy. But yet it is. Okay, if you come out here now, and you come down, and you're a little bit long, you know, using the scrap stuff here, well then come down and cut 1/8 of an inch off all of these rails, all these scrap pieces, you know. But once you get it, you're ready to go. All right, now here comes the hard part. Normally, how are we going to clamp all these together? We're going to glue these, and I even made some raised panels in here to some short. I'll do this, and you want to do this too. Make some raised panels. There's some fake ones coming down here like this, some short ones. Then you get the total visual look of what this is going to look like, you know. And you can see, you haven't built this yet, but you can see what it's going to look like, and that looks good, okay? So now, like I said, the hard part is clamping these with a band clamp or something like that, but no, we'll show you how to clamp it very easily. On the inside, we got our magic pocket hole. We're going to pocket screw from our rail into our stiles, okay? And to do that, we'll go over to our little jig here and show you how we do that. Okay, this is our new little pocket hole jig. It's called the 3-in-1 pocket hole cutter, and I'll show you what's nice about it. It's all aluminum construction, but what's nice, you just set your stock in here, clamp it, and the bushings, just hardened bushings, just drill the hole. And all these rails here now, I would just put 2 holes in each rail. Okay, you can see there's our 2 holes. Now, what you're going to have to do is, where that cope cut comes through there, take a little knife and clean all this material out of here so we're ready to screw that thing together. All right, another thing I like about this jig, the reason we call it a 3-in-1 is because this upright here can be interchanged. This upright is for 3/4 inch stock or 1 inch, 7/8. We have an upright that can exchange here, come into here for 2x4 stock. All it is 2 screws on the bottom, intersect this one with this one, and you're ready to go. And you can see when we took these out, we put a little lip on here. Why? Because on the back of both these uprights, we have a magnet. What it very simply do, we take our face clamps to that magnet. Now, if we want to use this thing portably and drill pocket holes, we can come into here, boom, clamp it, and we can drill our holes portably anywhere we want, you know. So that's why we call it the 3-in-1. It'll do 3 different operations. All right, let's take these rails back now, and I'll show you how we're going to put that curved raised panel together. Okay, here's the inside now, and we're going to assemble all these, you know. And you want to glue here, you know, put glue in here, and after it's glued, all you simply just drive them in tight. Take your little screws and work your way around. Inside here now, when you get inside here, I just do one section at a time. When you get inside, your drill might not work here. It might not fit, so you might have to use an angle drill. Some guys will use a hand driver. We've done that before. Some guys will take a square driver, come in here with and attach it to a ratchet and ratchet in with a wrench. But that's what you do. We're all set. Now, when we get all done with this now, these cabinets I'm showing you, they're in the rough stage. They haven't even been touched with any sanding or anything yet. They're real crude right now. But once we get done here now with this point right here, and I'm going to come down to here and show you here too. With this point, what we're going to do is we'll take a random orbital sander and we'll sand that. We'll sand that edge so it almost looks round. And it really looks nice when it's done, believe me. Okay, so that's how we do raised panels on a curve. All right, the next thing I'm going to show you is we're going to use a new cutter of ours to show you how we do an inside curve on those knockouts on our sinks and our ranges. Okay, we just interchanged. Here's another island we got. This island sits in front of that other island we had. And this island's going to have a sink here in the middle, and you can see all the raised panels we got here. I know Robbie in his shop, when he builds his cabinets, once he got the cabinet built, he'll take it and put it on these rollers so he can roll them around his shop and get them out of the way and so forth. But what we're going to do here on this island now is this. We're going to show you, we have a new molding cutter. How to make this, our sink's going to be in here. We got it punched out, gives it a little bit of a 3D depth look. You probably can't see this curve that much. We got a bigger one right here. Here's what we're building right here, okay? Right there. Here's a bigger one. This one in my kitchen, I used a little bit bigger one like this, and that's what I'm going to show you today. But you can see how it comes in, it attaches to the face frame, inside curve, outside curve, face frame. Okay, inside curve, outside curve, face frame. The face frames are pocket screwed to these curves. So what we have to do is I'm going to show you how to make these curves. Okay? To do